So my name is Collette Box, and I'm the director at Discovery Developmental Center in Kalispell. We are an NAEYC accredited program and have been around since 1992. And I was one of the original teachers here, so I've been here since then. We're a Star 4 program. We were going to go for Star 5, but COVID took that away. So yes, and we're a nonprofit organization. So we rented space when we first opened in a little old red schoolhouse, and we were there about 4, 5, 6 years. And our landlord gave us 30 days notice to move, and so we were somewhat homeless for a while. And so we transitioned into 2 different spaces, but we had all already outgrown that space, so we were already looking to build our own place, and so it kind of gave us the impetus to start a capital campaign. We worked with an architect who donated a good portion of their services to help us get this built. Our contractor worked with all of their people to help us get in-kind services to get it built, and so we were in transition for about 1.5 years and moved into this building in August of 2005. And so it was really fun. We knew what we wanted because from our old spaces. And so to work with an architect to figure out how to create the family spaces that we had, and we don't have self-contained classrooms. So we knew kind of what we wanted, and we outgrew it the first day we moved in. Can never be big enough. When we built the building, we specifically put floor space into common areas because that was what we had in our original place, and we really like the mixing of ages of kids in the mornings. I like that it gives us a family style to a center-based program, and I just think it's really important that younger kids get to hang out with older kids, and older kids get to learn how to be empathetic with 2-year-old behaviors. It also gives siblings an opportunity to see each other and spend time with each other. So our kids come into our common living area space in the early mornings, and then we do breakfast at 8:30. So we do breakfast together, and then they go into their classrooms. And so then, the classrooms have their space. We come back together and do 2 lunches in our common lunchroom art studio space. And then late afternoons, we do mixed stages again in either one of the yards. We try not to have all of the children in one yard, which is a good thing. What I tell families pretty much right from the start is that it's a play-based, social emotional based program, and that I give them my spiel about academics, as far as pre-writing, pre-literacy. It's all encompassed in a play-based environment, and I just tell them that if you're looking for a place for worksheets and that kind of stuff, that you're not going to be happy here. So yeah, it's emergent curriculum. We kind of go with the seasons, just kind of what the kids are into, what the families are into. This summer we've had a great, because we weren't able to do field trips, we've got this great family engagement piece going on where the kids are doing field trips to each other's houses. And so parents are getting to visit with the kids. And so that's been, the big community piece. So it's really, we really strive to be family focused and, nature-based science, we've got the gardens. I went on Julie's environments tour. This is neither here nor there, but so have ever since then been really trying to strive to learn how to be like a Reggio-inspired program. It's just, bringing more natural products in and really finding staff who appreciate that and staff who want to be outside, and because the outdoors with 2 great yards, we spend a lot of time outside. And there's lots of learning, and I want parents to know that, so lots of learning happens outside. So this classroom here is for our 2 3-year-olds, so we call them the playgroup squirrels. And so there's 12 kids here, and so they, they have all of their blocks, they have all of the same stuff as all of the other classrooms, but it's just shorter furniture. And it's also then where we do our diapering. One of the challenges with this classroom that I would change immediately tomorrow is we put the toilet training classroom the farthest away from the bathroom. But this room was built so big because back in that day, we didn't have all kids, because we had a kindergarten afternoon program. So it was built bigger this way because we had more nappers in here. But so this is for the 2 and 3-year-olds. There's 12 kids and 3 teachers in this classroom. And then, so the middle classroom, that is called our preschool mountain lion classroom, and that's for 3 and 4-year-olds. And so there's 14 kids in that classroom. And like I say, that preschool and the pre-K share that common area as the block center. So they'll send kids out there into that area, and they can build some tremendous block structures with that space. And then the far classroom is for 4 and 5-year-olds, and we call that our pre-K Eagle class. And I think that one of the things that for our program is that we don't switch them out when they turn a certain age. They stay with the same group of kids pretty much as cohorts. They move in the fall into the next classroom. So we don't switch them up like when they turn 3, they go to another place. So it's really relationship based. We really want the kids to be with the same people as long as possible. So the lunchroom, they do breakfast in the mornings, and then we do 2 lunches at between 12 and 1. And then in the morning times, the classrooms take turns using that space. So if they want to break up some combinations of kids, they can take a small group into the lunchroom, or sometimes they'll go as a classroom. It's got bigger space, different materials. They can do some really big, messy art. During the school year, wintertime, there's always a sensory tub in there that's bigger than the ones that they might have in the classroom. So it's just different space. That was one of the pieces of having the common spaces, is so that people aren't looking at the same 4 walls all day long, and changing up things. And sometimes just by changing up the space, you can change a kid's attitude into, oh, okay, I'm okay now. So then the lunchroom, and so then we set it up so that the materials are evident to the children, that they can see them. It was part of the things that we learned in the environments tour with Julie, is just make it visible, what the kids are being able to utilize. And so that's a well-used room. And then in the summertime, it's the only, for a while it was the only one that was air conditioned. So they come in there in the late, like this 4:30 to 5:30 time, when it's like the 90-degree days that we haven't really had this summer. But And then in wintertime, when it's dark at 4:30, that would be a space where they would again split up into the classrooms, and so it's well used. Mystery came to us, I would say it's been almost 10 years, from a family that just the boys had stopped caring about it anymore. So she came to us in a little, terrarium, aquarium type thing, 10 or 20 gallon maybe. And so we had her for quite a few years in that, and she was always part of the living room area, and the kids would say hi, and you could get really close up to her at that point in time. But she was always like scraping at the windows, like she wanted to get out, and this noise was just horrible. But we didn't have any more space, and then we had a mom, a family that came and joined us from Germany. And when she saw the space that Mystery had, she was just like, just really upset about it, because she was raised with Russian tortoises. And so she set about figuring out a way, and it took her a while to talk me out of the space, but she created this huge environment for Mystery, and we filled it up with soil, and she did all the research on what kind of soil and what kind of plants to put in it, or what kind of feed, because we were just feeding her reptile food, and she took her to the vet to find out what her sex was, because that's why she was called Mystery. When we built the building, we had just our south yard, and we didn't have any money to have that professionally done. So we were actually we did that ourselves with volunteer labor, and parents and youth groups came and helped us kind of clean it up and level it out, and planted the grass, and so we kind of were our own contractors for that. So it was never really done professionally, but it worked. But we found out all of the problems with it, and we had this whole north area here that was just an alfalfa field, knowing that someday we wanted another yard, or we would build a bigger building. And I opted for another yard because I didn't want a bigger building. I don't want to take any. I don't want a bigger license. So we had several families that helped us connect with. Like he designed it, he connected with an engineer to help us make sure that there was drainage, because our water table was only a foot deep, so we needed to put drainage underneath the play structure. And anyways, it was very professionally done. And then he also got us connected to Home Depot. And so Home Depot, we had a Home Depot day. I don't know that they still do it. Maybe they do. But Home Depot sends 24 of their volunteers from all around the state to pull together a program or a project for a nonprofit, and then they also donate $10,000 with that. So, so the $10,000 got us all of the shrubbery. It was all Home Depot materials that you purchase with the $10,000. So we bought all of the Trex decking for the play structure, and I just can't even remember everything that we spent, and they delivered it in a truck. They brought it all, and then they had 20 people, very organized in little groups of, people were doing this, and a lot of parent volunteers to help with it too. So it was really quite an amazing transformation overnight. So our pavilion was, that was early on when we were first in the building, and we had we had several high school teachers as family members, and they connected us with the buildings teacher at Flathead High School. And so he put together a group for his junior, senior projects kids to come up with a design for it. They built it on site at the high school. Over the course of it was kind of like a winter project. And then he put them in charge of figuring out how they were going to get it here, how they were going to get it in our yard, because it was going to be too big for our vehicle. So they had to do all of this engineering and stuff, and then find the equipment to do it. It was all a donation. And so this young man figured out a way to get it was petrifying to watch that pavilion that these kids had worked so hard. They lifted it up over our fence and then planted it down on the ground. And the kids are all in the lunchroom just watching it. And so it was very exciting when they came. And so we've gotten a lot of community support here to get the things done that we do. And It's kind of like what we do. We've been, we've had the garden for quite a few years, but it's getting quite, so yesterday, this week we had kale sausage soup, and we just picked all the yellow beans today, so we're going to have those on Monday. And the kids ravage the strawberries. So the strawberries are a big hit, and they ate peas, and we ate a lot of broccoli this year. It's been quite a successful garden this year because we're getting better at it, keeping track of it. We're being more intentional about it. We started getting involved with the Harvest of the Month program, so that's been pretty cool too. It's the Farm to EC program. It's based out of Montana State, and so. Our cook cannot make enough roasted broccoli. I mean, the kids just love it, and it's just so cool when she runs out of broccoli. It's like, really? We started on this whole gardening thing about the same time that we got that bill. We intentionally knew that huge spot in that area was going to be for a garden, and built the beds, and it took a while to kind of bring gardening into our program because we couldn't decide whether each classroom should have a bed or whether we should make a community thing, and there was some of our staff that weren't into gardening or didn't want to be a garden, but we started it because just going, where do carrots grow? And they come from the store. And so thinking, okay, we somehow we have to have these kids connect to where their food is, and the best way to do it is to grow it ourselves. And so just over the years, we have kind of really come together as a community of teachers, and there's some of us that really dig it and some of us that don't, but all of the kids get to go in there, and it gets sun a good 24 hours a day, as much sun as we have it, and so it thrives. And we've had parent support every summer and our spring and fall. We do work days where the beds all get dug up with some compost, and so the garden has been doing really, really well. And because of it, like kids don't love beans, but I know that when they have picked them and then on Monday they're going to break them for Beth, our cook, that I know that they're going to be more likely to try them. And I think that's the biggest thing. We had one kids with the broccoli a couple of days ago, and some of it was from the garden and some of it was from the store because we didn't have enough to serve. And one of the kids, I want the broccoli from the garden, but another child said all broccoli comes from gardens. And it's just like, oh, that's a breakthrough. That it's just that they know where their food's coming from and that they're willing to try healthy foods.